So with week 0 starting tomorrow, that's not stopping the Oklahoma Sooners from continuing to add on to their already really impressive recruiting class, because this evening we need to break down an addition Oklahoma got that I know will excite Oklahoma fans. As top 150 player in all of high school football, top 10 safety, Makari Vickers out the state of Florida commits to the Oklahoma Sooner. Tonight, we need to break down why this is such a big deal, what Vickers brings to the table, and everything in between. But before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I need to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, Y for yes, N for no. Are you excited that Vickers chose the Oklahoma Sooners? And let me know what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed this content, like and comment down below, as those interactions are massive. But having said all that, let's jump right in. And this is a fantastic addition. And before we really jump into that, to me, it highlights something else that's been very impressive with Brent Venables and the way he's been able to recruit thus far, something we've talked about before. But with this addition, this is now 4 individuals out the state of Florida that are all very, very talented football players. With Makari Vickers, you have Derek LeBlanc, you have Lewis Carter, and you have Keon Brown, and there's still a lot more players in the state of Florida that I'm sure Oklahoma is keyed in on. But for Brent Venables to come in and have this success in the state of Florida he's having in the midst of both the Florida Gators and the Miami Hurricanes really emerging as major players in that state and trying to make sure other teams have a much more difficult time coming in and getting talent, it's been very impressive how well Brent Venables has been able to go in there, pick his battles, and win those battles. But now let's talk about Makari Vickers in particular. Because Makari Vickers is someone who stands 6'1", around 180, 190 pounds per 24/7 sports, and he plays in Tallahassee, Florida. And this is a very big win for the Oklahoma Sooners, and the reason why is quite simple. Vickers brings a lot of versatility to the table. This is someone who is very successful both as a kick returner, as a cornerback, and especially as a safety. So he's someone you can actually move around in your secondary because of the success he saw as a cornerback, where he was a really, really solid cornerback, but his upside as a safety is very, very telling whenever you flip on his film. Because some of the things you're going to notice instantly about Makari Vickers is that he is very active in both the run game and the pass game. He's someone who's looking for the interception on the pass game, and he's able to get it quite frequently, which is something you love to see if you're a fan of the Oklahoma defense and what it could be going forward. Having a safety with the ability to track down and be a ball hawk always sets the tone defensively. But if you want to talk about really setting the tone, this is someone who is not scared in the least to become active in the run game. He will run downhill and run straight through you. That's what you love to see out your safety position. Someone who you have faith in at the back end, but you know if a running back breaks that first level of the defense, now he's got to answer to him. And that's what you love to see. And not only that, as I started out saying, Makari Vickers stands 6'1", around 190 pounds. So he's a bigger bodied kid who's only going to continue being able to add on to his frame, especially once he gets to a college strength and conditioning program. But what's more telling is that he has that frame and he's already ran sub 11 second 100-meter dashes. He's ran a 22.14 200-meter dash. So he's a bigger safety, a bigger defensive back who's not sacrificing in the speed department whatsoever, which is something you love. So what this means for Oklahoma is that they continue getting in massive wins, both on offense, both in defense, and in the states of their choosing. And in particular for Makari Vickers, Oklahoma is getting in a defensive back that I think has got a ton of versatility. And we've always talked about with Brent Venables' defense, Brent Venables is going to utilize a lot of cool things within this defense, something I'm really excited to see. But whenever you have someone with versatility, it really doesn't matter who your head coach is. It makes everything in theory, and it's very important to note in theory, it makes everything easier, because if you're better suited playing Vickers at safety because you have corners you have tons of faith in, boom, you get a win. If you get Vickers in, you love his ability at corner, and you've got safeties you really like, boom, he can do that at a high level. Now, all that to say, he's going to play Now, all that to say, I'd be very surprised if he wasn't a safety at the next level, but it is painting the picture of the athletic ability he has and why he's so highly sought after. So what does this mean for Oklahoma's class as a whole? Well, quite frankly, it continues to give them more momentum. Because with this addition, Oklahoma now has 21 members in their 2023 recruiting class and have now climbed into the top 5 classes in the nation at number 5. And don't look now, ladies and gentlemen, but that's something Lincoln Riley was not able to do with the Oklahoma Sooners, is finish with the top 5 class. Now, we all understand that we're only in August. A lot of time is between now, early National Signing Day, and ultimately National Signing Day. Other teams are going to get huge wins. They're going to rise, but Oklahoma is still involved in several top-tier battles, and if they win those battles, they're going to be cementing their place as a really solid recruiting class this year. I don't think there's any question, any argument from anybody in the nation that Oklahoma doesn't look to finish with a top 10 recruiting class, which for Brent Venables, under the circumstances he came to Oklahoma, considering what he did with the last recruiting class and the last transfer portal class, to back that up with yet another top 10 recruiting class would be highly impressive in my opinion. But I also think we need to understand that Oklahoma finishing with a top 5 class is absolutely within the realm of possibility if they continue to win the battles they'd like. This is a recruiting class that we have got to watch, and if Brent Venables, in his first full season as the Oklahoma Sooners head coach, is able to get in a recruiting class that is better than anything Lincoln Riley brought in, watch out. Because if you think there's a palpable excitement in Norman now, I got bad news for you. You're going to hate the excitement levels in Norman if they finish with a recruiting class that's better than any of the recruiting classes Lincoln Riley netted them. It is going to be pandemonium in Norman, and deservedly so, especially when we look at how the past year has gone for Sooners. It's pretty much been a roller coaster. So, what does this mean for Oklahoma? It's a great win for the Oklahoma Sooners, puts them in the top 5 recruiting classes in the nation as they still have major battles out in front of them. They get in a defensive back that has a ton of versatility. He's a 4-star defensive back coming in specifically as the number 117 player overall in all of high school football, regardless of position, the number 8 safety in the nation. Hop down to the comments, let me know what you're thinking about this. I can't wait to hear from y'all, and I really can't wait for college football to be back. That's it. See ya.